Hello and welcome to an update from Six Planes Games. That's right.
It's no longer Demonology Actual Play Podcast necessarily.
Not necessarily. We have some plans in the pipeline, but we would like to open with an apology for the back half of the third season simply disappearing into the ether.
We got a little further in recording, and then we just lost a lot of files, and so that season is unfortunately a little dead.
My workplace re-imaged my laptop, which was fantastic, and I lost access to my own OneDrive at work. And it turns out we also lost access to a bunch of Google files. So it was great. Really good time.
Yeah. Really. And that was after we were 6 episodes ahead. So it all fell apart. But it's fine. It's all good. Because we've got new plans. We since released Kill Kindness, which is a sick game that we've managed to play a few times in person.
And it's definitely not a game about killing Walt Disney.
Yeah, it's definitely not officially legally to say into a microphone. It's not a game about killing Walt Disney.
Oh no, you said his name. You said his name. I said Walt Disney. What are you doing?
Oh, okay. You said Walt Disney. I heard Walt Disney.
It's called plausible deniability. What should I say in court now, Wilcox?
I said that it's not. Yeah, no, it's what if Disneyland, let's say in Florida is actually a megacity that exists in the post-apocalyptic future after the Cold War went not cold. With a big blast dome. So it's like, you ever read Under the Dome by Stephen King? No, neither have we.
You ever seen the Simpsons movie?
Yeah.
Just as big a cultural reference, maybe bigger. Please don't sue me, Stephen King. No, he won't. He's chill.
Wildly. I don't think we ever brought up while we were making this game that I saw all of the TV show Under the Dome.
You've never brought that up.
Yeah, I went through a real phase of watching a lot of trash American TV. It's up there. It was pure fucking trash. I think it got 2 seasons.
Oh,
wasn't good.
Oh boy.
Yeah. But that's Stephen King adaptations. They're pretty wild going each way. But that's beside the point. You play some revolutionaries overthrowing the city. It's got an interesting structure of it's a game in 3 phases. So there are sort of 3 games in it, or you play the same game, but their mechanics shift depending on what stage of the game you're in. So you're either inside the dome trying to bring it down from the inside, and then eventually you'll escape. And from that point, you are trying to raise an army in the post-apocalyptic wasteland that is really no longer much of a wasteland. And then the third phase is you come back with an army and you fucking cut the head off Walt Disney.
Walt Disney.
Yeah.
Very much so.
But that's all out. We've played it a few times. We may well work on a little podcast thing with it. We've not decided 100% on that, but we are now working on a new project. Siobhan, do you want to take away on what that might look like?
Indeed. We wish to bring out a number of zines. 5 zines, in fact. A few of them have already been written and need some editing and some remixing. But the idea is, between now and unstated point in the future, so you can't hold us to a timeline.
yeah, very true. Very true. We're aiming for some point in quarter of year.
That's how the business plan looks. We have a game called The Pilgrimage, written by me. We have a game called The Underworld Relic Retrieval Company, written by our good friend Jana, who helped us with the playtesting for Kill Kindness. We have Impossible Forces by good old Wilcox here, with giant robots and whatnot. We have When I Looked on You. There's.
I think you mean when I looked on you for the last time, you asked me to love you. The most extra title that I've gone for in a game ever.
And a game of 3 bullets. So in the pilgrimage, you are going on a pilgrimage with a god. It's very much inspired by Journey to the West, although because I myself am not Chinese, it covers lots of world mythology, sort of syncretized together. And you can either be the god, or you can be the pilgrims. You can play it by yourself, you can play it with friends, and it's meant to be contemplative. In Urk, you are a horrible little imp. You are combing over the remnants of what might be something like hell to scavenge. You are part of a scavenging company retrieving things from the underworld. And you're just a piece of shit. You're a piece of shit. Nobody cares about you in this bureaucracy. And you gotta do your best to advance whilst fighting horrible little guys, horrible little dudes in deeper and deeper circles of hell.
Yeah, and then Impossible Forces is a game about the endless war in the far future, where a genetic scientist created super soldiers like superheroes, and then to combat that, people built giant robots to punch them with. And it is a pure misery simulator of endless war about giant robots punching superheroes. It's asymmetric gameplay, so it's about the robots have different rules to the people, and it's pretty rules light, mostly meant for big fights. Though we'll probably shift around with that a little bit. We've got room to play.
Yeah, with the remixing and such. And then When I Looked on You, finish the title.
When I looked on you for the final time, you asked me to love you. That is the curse of making a game with a title longer than 2 words, which is, what's the order of those words again? To the point where when I first released it, I did write the title wrong most times that I wrote it down. I couldn't decide if it was When I Looked on You for the final time or When I Looked on You for the last time. And who knows, in this call, I might have said different things at different points.
Maybe both. We'll run the tape back. We'll see.
Yeah. It's cross Alien with the final few scenes of Annihilation, with the Thing, with Event Horizon, and you come to there is an alien being, and it is either Demon Satan trying to eat me, or it is Demon Satan trying to eat me. But maybe that's okay.
maybe I want to be eaten by Demon Satan. You think of that?
Yeah. It's it's a bit more amusing. Where the current goal is how do you create a those stimuluses by crossing it with Among Us and the board game Pandemic. Don't ask me about that. We're getting there. And then finally, there is a game of 3 bullets, which is a world-building game based around... Hold on. It is inspired by a specific artwork by Waleed Rad called... Yeah. It's based around, let's be honest, The Weather Helped, which is a piece of art about living in Beirut in the 1970s. And it is a series of collages of buildings with bullet holes in them. However, the bullet holes are not real or realistic. But it is about living in Beirut in the 1970s. The game is then crossed with Disco Elysium. It is about a place that has been riddled with bullets, and it is about the sort of emotional trauma as well as the physical act of removing bullets, because every bullet that has ever been fired that is not there anymore has been picked up by a person and put somewhere else. And so it is a game about that. It's really very somber. It's very sort of like methodical. And it's about building worlds where you have sort of like a real sense of something bad happened here, which is why the Disco Elysium reference is there. And so we're working on that a lot as a concept.
Now
so that's...
Yeah. So that's
them.
That's them. And it may have sounded like we listed 5 different ways to be incredibly miserable, but we promise they will be fun.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you know, I will stand by the fact that they will be miserable. But isn't being miserable be having a good time? I think so. And if you're a little freak like me, then I guess you'll agree.
So yeah, because you're listening to us, we imagine you must be a little freak like us.
Yeah, you've got to like being miserable at least a little bit, right?
Is that what we're going to start calling Fantasy 6 players, little freaks?
That'll be perfect, honestly. Yeah, so, I mean, aside from that, so our plan is that we will start thinking about doing sort of like one-offs here and there in, I think, probably this podcast feed. I don't know if we'll like rename it or change it or do something with it, but we'll see what we do. We'll, as and when, maybe roughly, but don't hold us to this, monthly, or bi-monthly, as in every 2 months, not every...
not every one.
Yeah. Put out something which is us working on these games, maybe playing them, seeing them as they develop. We used to do Witches Workshops, which is development podcast where we talk about, you know, we do a bit of live development. Something along those lines we'll start working towards.
Absolutely. And sprinkled in there will be some background stuff on those games. Like perhaps on Beirut in the 70s, perhaps on how do you make a game with the pandemic and annihilation smushed together.
Would love to tell you.
Would
love to tell you. Once we worked it out, we'll tell you immediately. But yeah, that's those are the concepts that we're currently working on, and we plan to at some point do them as a big bundle, so you can get them all at once, all together, or you can get them individually, or you can get any specific number you want of those. And partly we're doing the big bundle all at once is because some of them are re-releases or, you know, remixes that we just want to get out there in the world. And some of them are just smaller projects that we're working on. And partly it's satisfying to do it this way.
Yeah. And who knows, maybe perhaps in one of those months you'll get a little Demonology one-shot in there as well. So we can keep the name of our podcast because it's so much work building up a new name podcast.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah, I mean, I think that's about maybe it. Am I missing something, Siobhan, or are we good?
Oh no, we're good.
Also, we're signing out because, I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm really not on fucking Twitter anymore.
Yeah, I can't really look on Twitter. So you find us on Instagram, you find us on Reddit if that's your jive.
Fucking find us on Itch. That's where we are.
Find us on Itch. If you want to talk to us, email us, hit us up on the gram on Itch. If I can be bothered, I'll make something like like a Threads. Is it a Threads people are doing now? I don't know.
Yeah, like not a link tree because you have to pay to do this now, but like whatever it fucking is.
Yeah.
Oh, Threads is the fucking fake Twitter.
Yeah. Fake Twitter.
I'm not doing that. I'm technically on co-host, but I really haven't posted on co-host. I've just stopped posting. I'm not a poster anymore. I don't post.
Yeah. The internet's become really shitty for normal people to go and post anymore.
I read the news. Um, but yeah, find us at 6-planes.itch.io. That's the place where you can find our games. I think you can message people on Itch. Can you do that? I don't know. Email us. There you can find the link to our odd Twitter and our Facebook, and you can find our Gumroad on there where we sell some physical copies. And there's also
Yeah, and I will put show notes up on the gram follows there, because they're fun to do. We can drop in that painting that inspired Three Bullets. You can drop in the things that inspired us alongside this. So yes, in brief, we are alive. We still make games, and we will be coming at you in the new year.
Yeah. See you all soon.
See you all soon.
Bye.
Bye.